Alright, what's going on everybody? Many of you guys know that I've made several positive videos on Lost Ark and I've been playing the game a lot, and with that I have a lot of advice to offer newcomers that are looking to get into the game. And in this video I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and to the point, and I hope by the end of this video I would have provided you some knowledge and value. Knowledge and value that will help you on your MMO degen journey. Now we do have a sponsor for this video, thankfully, so we'll hop into the sponsor and then we'll jump right into the video. This video is sponsored by Opera GX, the first browser designed for desktop gaming enthusiasts and those like me who spend most of their time on the internet. Now I was happy to work again with Opera GX, as many of you told me in the comments that it was a product you actually use. And unlike Google Chrome, which I stopped using months ago, Opera offers GX Control to enhance your PC's performance while gaming and browsing the internet. The browser also includes many quality of life features that you would have to go out of your way to install yourself. With built-in Discord, Twitch, and social media integration, you can stay up to date with all of your friends, streamers, and content creators. You can sync up your accounts directly from the sidebar and receive notifications when that same friend who asked you to play Shadowlands is now asking if you're planning to binge Lost Ark for the Western release. There are a ton of other features that you can explore within the browser, like forced dark pages, RGB customization, animated wallpapers, and a built-in ad block, and more notably, the compatibility with Google Chrome extensions. Additionally, you can use their import tool, allowing you to import all of your browsing data and bookmarks from your previous browser, making your transition that much easier. Opera has also recently introduced their new Flow feature, allowing you to sync your desktop to GX Mobile. Now you can browse the internet on your phone and send yourself any files, pictures, or reminders between browsers with one single tap or click. Stay up to date and synced with all the latest game news and releases via GX Corner. So for those of you looking for a new browser better designed for your needs, I suggest you give Opera GX a try. Check a link in the description and let me know what you all think, and a big thank you to Opera for sponsoring this video. Alright, so these are all of the mistakes that I made when I got into Lost Ark, and this is a very cliche topic, right? This is a topic that you see all over YouTube, and a lot of the tips that you will get generally, in my opinion, aren't that useful, and they're things that you can just Google. These are going to be more things that I would advise my friends to do if they're getting into the game. The first thing is going to be picking your main character, and everyone always talks about this. So many times do people come in my stream and say, Stoops, you know, I'm considering playing Bard or Holy Knight. Which one stands out more? Or I want to play Striker or War Dancer. Which one should I play? The truth is that this main decision that you probably have is not as important as you think it is. And in fact, it's not important whatsoever really in the early stages of Lost Ark. You hear a lot of people say that tier 1 or tier 2 content, these are the major patches of the game. That content doesn't really matter. It's all about tier 3. And in some ways, this is true. You don't have to pick your main. If there are 2 classes that you want to play or 3 classes that you want to play, that's completely normal, and just play all of them. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but you don't need to lock in your main. My main character down the road will be the Berserker, but early game, I'm gonna play Sharpshooter or Hawkeye because it just sounds fun. What you really want to be focusing on is your account and not your character. Now, with me saying that, you're probably thinking, oh, I've heard online that you need a ton of alts in Lost Ark. This isn't true. You do not need a ton of alts in Lost Ark. You don't need an armada of characters to play the game whatsoever. You make an alt when you want to try out a new class. In fact, I would say for many of you, probably 80% of you that have never played this game before will probably end up re-rolling anyways. Don't worry about which class you pick at the start, and also don't worry about having this tons of characters at your disposal that you have to keep farming on to keep up to date. This is so false, and honestly it's information from people that don't actively play the game, or it's outdated information from years ago. And as I did mention earlier, what you should be doing instead of focusing on a character is focusing on your account or server. And how do you do that? When the game comes out, your focus, in my opinion, and what I'll be focusing on is collecting runes, acquiring skill points, acquiring cards, Lifeskilling, and my estate. And I'll break down some of these systems a little bit more, but I will have links to all of these systems for unlisted videos on my YouTube channel, just for you that you can watch in your own time, because I don't want this video to get too long. But let's start with runes. Runes are something that you apply to your abilities. You can have one for each ability, and they alter the way your ability works in some ways. Some of them add a bleed effect. You have ones that reduce the mana cost of an ability. And even though you'll go out into the world and maybe do some sailing content, or you do a guardian raid and a rune drops, or you do an island and you get a rune, even though that rune may not be useful to the character that you're playing at that moment, try to collect as many runes as possible so that when you do decide, hey, I don't really like this class and I want to focus on this class instead, you'll have the runes ready to go so you can switch over easily. And that's the benefit of these server-wide systems. Skill points are the same thing. When you go out and do various content in the game, collecting island hearts, giant hearts, and you acquire these skill points, they benefit all of your characters. So focusing on that rather than item level is going to benefit you in the long run. Now, cards are a system that I will have a link for down below in the description that you can check out in your own time, but just know that cards are actually a long-term progression system in Lost Ark. You're going to get a bunch of cards in your inventory. Just read them, and if you don't have any more space in your warehouse, don't expand your warehouse early on. Just store them away in your storage, and they will have use for you later down the road. It's a server-wide system that will benefit all of your characters. The last few systems that I did neglect early on, and I still neglect them to this day, is Lifeskilling and your Stronghold or Estate. Lifeskilling is your typical gathering profession system that you've seen in various other MMOs. Do not neglect this. You don't have to do it. It's optional, but it can make you and save you a tremendous amount of gold, especially when paired with your Estate system or your Stronghold system for the NA version. The Stronghold system is a very, very easy garrison-like system from World of Warcraft that will be updated in the future with this. You probably saw the videos of this extravagant housing system. But the Stronghold system is essentially where you take your gathered materials throughout the world, the wood, the fish, the ore that you mine, and you can make battle items, potions, grenades. And in fact, you can even use your Stronghold to increase the likelihood that you upgrade your alt's gear and reduce the mats that's required to upgrade your alts. It's an insane system that's really impactful, and I neglected it for so long that now I kind of regret not doing it earlier because it would have saved me so much gold down the road. So you don't have to stress about these systems. It takes a minute per day to even do in the first place, but it is something to look into and something I advise that you do for the Western release. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information really fast, but hopefully by this point in the video, the point that I'm trying to get across is that item level and vertical progression on one character is probably the least important thing early on in Lost Ark, and it's more important to focus on server-wide systems that will benefit you in the long run. However, when you get into the deeper stages of the game, like tier 3 content that you've probably heard about and you've seen all these crazy raid videos on, that's when it's going to start to shift from server-wide content to really focusing in on one character. And when you get into tier 3, hopefully by then you have unlocked all of your skill potions, you've gathered tons of runes, you have a solid card deck going, and then you can lock in on your main character and what you want to play. And this is where a lot of the gearing complexity comes into play. There's things like engravings and gear sets, and I will have links down below to engravings because engravings are probably the most confusing system in Lost Ark for a new player, and hopefully at the end of watching that video you'll have a better idea of how that system works. A common thing that you will hear from people in Lost Ark is that there's so much time-gated content. Yes, it's difficult to push your item level every single day, but that shouldn't be your focus. When you have no more mats to collect for the day, that's when you go off and do sailing content, island exploration content, go out and do events that are happening throughout the world so you can benefit your account, and that's how you progress your character. Item level is not the only way to progress your character. In a lot of cases, it's the least effective way to progress your character and your account, and you should be focusing on other things in Lost Ark, and that's what a lot of veteran players, I hate the word veteran, but a lot of more experienced players will be doing. So whether you want to play for an hour or two per day or 15, all of the content is there for you, and if you guys have any questions on the game whatsoever, you can head over to my live stream somewhere here on the screen, and I'd be more than willing to answer your questions. I will also have links to some of my friends down in the description below that do a lot of valuable information for you as well. Hopefully this video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.